I see out of the corner of my eye Alexa Lavoie and Tamara Ugolini at the Conservative Party. Hey, great to see you guys. And it looks like you're on a riser there with a great view of the main stage. Tell us what it's like over there.
Yeah, Alexa, do you want to kick it off?
Yes, but so far we know that the doors are not open yet for the general public. They will open it around 9 or 9:30. So right now what we see so far is lots of media getting prepared to comment about the electoral nights. So there is not much happening, I would say, on the ground.
Yeah, but there was approximately, what was it, 158?
150. So I've been told that there is approximately 150 media outlets on the ground here. So I don't know if all of them are here, but I've been told at the start that yes, they are attending 150 media outlets.
150 members of the media are here. And so we're actually one of the closest to the stage. So you can see the stage behind me, and there's people sort of trickling in. There's a bar area with some food, and then media's kind of just along each side of the event space. And there's some radio broadcasters along the other side here, a bit closer. But we have this so the risers were given on a funny basis that they were raffled off. And so it was really just the luck of the draw that we were able to get this space. We have a riser. It's maybe small, but we are mighty. And so it's funny because you can compare, and I posted a video on X just kind of giving the lay of the land so that people can see from our perspective what it looks like inside here at the Conservative Watch Party. And again, we're at the Shaw Centre in downtown Ottawa. And you can see the very clear differences between the amount of gear and equipment that the mainstream media has. I mean, the one I'm looking at, the one one media organization just adjacent to us, and the wires that are coming off of all of their gear and equipment. We have a modest setup here, but it's a great little setup that we do have with some microphones and headphones. But if all else fails, I mean, really, all you need here is a decent microphone, a decent internet connection, and a decent camera. So we were having some technical issues at the beginning, and I thought, if all else fails, we have our phones, we have headphones, we have some microphones, we can connect things and live stream on the fly without all of this extra fluff. But it's really interesting, and there's a lot of people trickling in here. I see a lot of people doing just live streaming independent media. And I imagine that the space will just continue to fill up until 9 p.m.
Hey, Alexa, have you seen Rosemary Barton or that bald guy, David Cochrane?
No, but I'm pretty sure that if they see me, they would probably run away.
Who was the one that had the complete meltdown with the mustache? Was it from the?
No, I didn't see him.
I saw him.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, I saw him.
He would probably don't come to talk to us.
If you see Rosemary Barton, walk near her and then go, boo!
No.
And she would have to go and change her pants.
Or maybe she would start the diet challenge.
That's right. I think she's terrified of Rebel News. I think she and her buddy, that bald guy, I forget his name, he gets so revved up. David Cochrane is so revved up.
Oh, I did see him.
Rebel News.
Are you
saw David Cochrane? Don't
I believe so.
He'll claim you took him hostage.
Yeah, if you looked at him the wrong way, he might complain about your presence there. I mean, he is a very sensitive New Age man. He's the kind of guy who uses pronouns, and seeing Rebel News is a trigger for him. He needs a trigger warning. He needs a sort of a safe place. So you guys, I mean, between the two of you, you're petite ladies, and so, that's... But David Cochrane will find you quite menacing, so I would just like to ask you to restrain yourselves, because otherwise he might cry again.
I need to tell you, Ezra, you went so politely. You waited for the had time to go and talk to him and have the rights to reply. And all this shenanigan that when just to a man like you, Ezra, asking for a reply about the disinformation that was spread about you and Rebel News, turned into, and I'm not kidding, Chantal Hébert saying that you took hostage the columnist.
My God.
She said that.
You know what? I
She
think
said that.
they're losing their mind. Hey, if David Cochrane, now he would never do it because I don't think he has the courage, but if he ever comes up to your little riser area there, and if he says, I'd like to say something, I think, the rebel way would be to say, sure, because we've got some questions for you. Now, I don't think they would ever do that because they actually look at citizen journalists as beneath them. I won't say they regard us as subhuman, but they truly get demonic when they see us. The way they treated our colleague Drea Humphrey was a disgrace, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But you guys show courage, and if you encounter a government journalist, don't be too mean because they might cry, okay?
We have to keep this in mind and film everything, of course, as is the rebel
Film
way.
everything. Film everything in case these guys act up. Like that little dude who dresses like Hillary Clinton who works for the Hill Times. That guy's unhinged.
That's the one.
So just be
That's the
super
one that I
careful.
saw.
But remember that, we follow the rules the first day. They
We always
ask us
do.
to not record anything, to not record inside of the room. And that played against us because their behavior was not caught on camera. We were able to hear them during our question on CPAC. We were able to hear the heckled and laugh. And this time, we need to remember we need to always film because they will always twist everything against us.
And this is really the first time that we've seen any of the media since that entire event. So it will be interesting to see how they conduct themselves tonight and if there's any choice words.
Actually, I saw those media the day after that all this happened at the Pierre Poilievre event. And I knew at this moment that they would try to twist something and try to ask for the commission to be canceled. And it's exactly what happened. They pressure Pierre Poilievre to talk about it. And even at the end, when he stopped talking at this press conference, they were heckling him until he actually disappeared.
Hey guys, when's the next thing that happens there? When do they expect to open up the doors to the general public? And I guess there obviously wouldn't be, the leader won't come out until at the very end, but is there any sort of agenda you guys are expecting to hear from the main stage there?
Well, I'm not sure if you can see, but behind us, they're streaming. I think it's CTV News, the poll tracker, and so the Maritimes have closed, and I think they're waiting. They're counting down until the next province, so Quebec and Ontario, will close thereafter, and so there's a countdown for that. The doors open to the event itself to the public at 9 p.m. So I think what you're seeing trickling in is mostly members of the media, party members, etc. And so those numbers are continuing to grow, but it's still pretty barren around here because we have about an hour until the doors are open to the general public. And so at that point, this place, I imagine, will become a lot more lively, a lot more full, and we're going to get out there and talk to the crowd and mingle and see what the sentiment's like for the people who are coming out.
But what I can tell you, last night, lots of people had hope. Lots of people came together. Lots of people shared their sentiment and their emotion. The last rally in Carleton was really emotional, and it was really different than the other rally because it was kind of intimate. Because it was on the farmland, and it was really different. We were able to feel that another kind of feeling during the rally, because I've been to many a rally of Pierre Poilievre, but the last one we saw like how Aneda and Pierre Poilievre was there standing for the last time in front of their supporters and saying, we did everything that we were able to do, and everything that we had, now we cannot change anything.
Let's play a little clip of that. I mean, Efron, if you can grab, Alexa put up a lot of little video clips to Twitter. It did feel sort of warm and like the home stretch. Are you able to put up a video? We'll put that up quite shortly. You know what? I think they did campaign hard. They had a tough situation. And I don't think it was just that Mark Carney replaced Trudeau. I think it was the external factor of Donald Trump, because that gave Mark Carney something that he could own more than Poilievre could. Here, let's just show a little bit of it. I think, yeah, you're right. The setting, it looked like it was in a farm with some lights, and it much more intimate than, say, a huge hangar. The fact that it was at night. Here, let's just play another clip for people just to show them the feeling. Any of those, actually those Twitter vids by Alexa will do.
What was the crowd estimate at the event last night?
I think between 1,000 or 2,000 people on the farm. I would say that the farm owner probably regrets something, or probably not, because he doesn't have any grass left on his land because of all the cars.
All right, looks like we have a clip of Pierre Poilievre. Go ahead and play that one, guys. You know, Robert Browning said a man's reach should exceed his grasp, else what's a heaven for? And I think there was something bittersweet about Pierre Poilievre for 2 years knowing he was going to win, for a year knowing he was going to win a majority, for 6 months knowing he was going to win a blowout, that it could happen, that it was within his reach. But I'm afraid it looks like it won't be within his grasp, but I guess that's what heaven's for. We'll see, though. I mean, I think the Conservatives are motivated. I think Conservatives feel like it's do or die for the country. I think Liberals just hate Pierre Poilievre. The demographics are important. Boomers and seniors tend to vote more often. They're less busy. Voting is perhaps a habit or a tradition for them. If you're 20, you've never voted before. Maybe you don't know how. Maybe it's, doesn't feel that important. Voter turnout for young people is always low, and that may be a factor. Hey, there are some results, and I'm just looking on the Elections Canada page, that the Conservatives are leading in 3 districts out of 14. The Liberals are leading in 11. So I mentioned earlier the riding of Central Newfoundland, for example. And I mentioned that Clifford Small, the Conservative, indeed was far ahead. And again, only 50 out of 233 polls have reported, but the lead looks significant. So in Newfoundland, it is rough. It's 3 Conservatives to 11 Liberals, but this is the Atlantic. This is Liberal turf. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be optimistic. I think the Atlantic is going to be a slaughter. What do you think, Sheila?
Yeah, I do too. I mean, looking at the provincial elections from out there recently, yeah, I won't be surprised that it will be a blowout for in favor of the Liberals. I'm completely unoptimistic and emotionally prepared for the disaster of this country, rewarding the Liberals for 10 years of corruption, kleptocracy, crime, opioid deaths, taxes, out of control immigration, and the absolute hopelessness of our youth. I'm prepared for that in my mind, and anything more than that, I think, is a win at this point.
Yeah. Are there any people there at the HQ there, Alexa and Tamara, who are from different parts of the country, or is it all just folks from the Ottawa region?
Yeah, not really that I've seen so far. As I said, the people are starting to trickle in now since we've joined onto the live stream. I believe doors opened for the media and more of the party members at 6:30, so only about an hour ago, really. And once we're off the live stream, we're going to go out and mingle, see what we can find out, see if we can get any visuals, any video clips, and of course we will be, I believe, tuning back in later tonight, depending on how things go, and we'll have videos coming out both tonight, and I think we're planning to do some additional reporting tomorrow, depending on how things go tonight. So we'll see. There's still a lot of space to fill in here, and I think when the doors actually open at 9 p.m. in about an hour, that we'll see a lot more influx at that time. But right now, it's still pretty tame. Still relatively empty. I think you can see most behind us. There are some people out gathering in the other event space in the hall area, but there's still a lot of people trickling in.
All right, well, we'll come back to you guys when there's a little bit more action there. I'm glad you're on the riser there, and I was sort of half joking about Rosemary Barton and David Cochrane, but I think I'd like you to, don't go trouble them, because they'll have like a cardiac arrest, and I don't, Rosemary Barton will have a breakdown, and David Cochrane will, they probably, but I am curious in one thing, and maybe you can tell us this. Do they have like 30 private security there? Like, have they put themselves behind a wall of steel because they're so afraid that a reformer might, a conservative might say a mean thing to them?
Believe it or not, when I arrived this afternoon, I recognized straight the security for Radio-Canada, so CBC, that was there at the debate, and she recognized me, and she said, "Oh, did you bring me a rebel toque, like Benny?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you will be there." But she is friendly, but yes, they brought with them their own security, yeah.
Well, I'll give this, I think I met that same CBC security boss, and she was actually quite pleasant to me. I think that she knows she has a couple of prima donna divas on her hand. And I've met you both, Alexa and Tamara, and there's a lot of things I like about you, but you're not particularly terrifying. And so I think for big David Cochrane to crumple into the fetal position and call security is a bit of a laugh. And as you say, the security person is a woman, and I guess she's a little bit tougher than David Cochrane. But if you do see security, take a picture or a video. I'm curious about how much money taxpayers are spending to protect David and Rosemary Barton from mean words, because there will be a temptation by conservatives in that room to heckle the CBC, because the CBC is a party. I know they're not called a party. They didn't register as a party, but they are as partisan as any party, as vicious as any party, and they are dedicated to winning. And the CBC is an issue in this election. They're on the ballot. And by that I mean their name is not written there, but if you mark Pierre Poilievre, you're saying defund the CBC. If you mark Mark Carney, you're saying give an extra $150 million to the CBC. I tell you, if someone said, Ezra, I'll give you $150 million if you boost Party X or Party Y, I might try and be principle, but then my wife would hear about it and say, you take the 150 million, Ezra. I'm kidding, of course. This is all a fantastic hypothetical, but my point is it's not a hypothetical for David Cochrane and Rosemary Barton. $150 million gratuity if Mark Carney wins, and you're fired if Pierre Poilievre wins. These people are the most partisan in the place. Anyways, we'll keep in touch with you guys, and let us know when things are cooking there at the HQ.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks
See you
you
soon.
guys.